Life's a funny thing. Some of us are dealt some pretty cruddy cards, and then we're expected to just grow up. Normal. That leaves a lot of us to struggle as we navigate through life's difficult times. And if you're anything like me, you have no idea what the hell normal is. Welcome to the Wishbone Podcast with me, your host, Luko Ohana, as we discuss and share our life stories in hopes of helping each other out. So if you got 30 minutes, let's talk about it. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Wishbone Podcast. Obviously, we're doing something a little bit different. We're doing some video along with the podcast, and I thought that'd be a good idea, a better way for you guys to engage with the podcast and for me to engage with you guys a little bit. And I'm very open to any ideas or suggestions. If you guys have any, please hit me up. It's been a tremendous positive thing for me to be starting this podcast. I still feel very vulnerable, pouring myself out in this format. But I do know that the feedback I've gotten is exactly what I'm going for. It's just something that creates discussion and allows people to open up to each other and really kind of talk. And that's really what this whole thing's about, is to just initiate discussion. So I can't tell you how much I appreciate this. Leading off with last week's question is, what is a miracle? So I used to always believe in just really one type of miracle. Now, a miracle by definition is an event that you're wanting to happen but can't be explained by natural scientific means. And so I don't know if this necessarily falls under the true definition of miracle. If it doesn't, then I really don't believe in miracles. But I always believe that the fact that you could abuse an animal, in my experience, a dog, I worked in a vet clinic where we had a dog that was set on fire and had like 99% burns all over her body because people are cruel and evil, and she still made it out to be a loving dog. Or the fact that you could abuse, or the fact that you could abuse a child to the extent that, that we have seen, and they can still somehow make it through their trauma and turn out to be productive people. That is miraculous to me. I can't tell you how much that connects with me and my soul. The fact that I'm not dead, or I'm not a drug user, I don't have 50 kids, or I'm not beating my kids. The fact that we can make it through these things and still be productive, and I hate to use the word normal, so, that we can come through and be healthy adults is, to me, miraculous. It's amazing. My story kind of justifies my stance on that, but I've met a lot of wonderful people that have had similar traumas, and they're beautiful. They're amazing, helpful, healthy, and my mom is an example of that. My mom had TB as a kid and raised her own siblings from a very young age, and just worked hard out of the loveness out of her heart. And everybody that I know of called my mom. It's a little bit more difficult to record these podcasts in video because it's hard for me to hide if I'm crying or whatnot. But we'll push forward. But there's been several stories that have come out since my mom's passing where my mom has done things to take care of other people only because my mom just had this caring soul. My mom would work harder if that was the case to cover for a coworker of hers that maybe had an abusive husband and wasn't able to get much sleep the night before. And it was these stories that came out after that really kind of underlined this message that kindness and supportiveness and empathy are really all that's needed to allow us to be a better society. And that's what I believe in. We all come from traumatic events, but if we can just be empathetic toward our fellow person, then we would go a lot longer in finding resolution. So with that tangent over, today's episode is about those special people in my life that have really allowed me to get through my trauma, or can help me continue through my trauma and become a productive, healthy person, hopefully on the other side of that. So, obviously it doesn't need to be said that my family and my kids are tremendous, beautiful, special people in my life, and I would hope that it's assumed that I already accounted for them especially in the previous episodes. So today it's going to be about those very special people that came into my life throughout my upbringing that have allowed me to feel confident and strong enough not to take the suicide route. So, you know, to begin with, I have to talk about my friend Jenna. She's no longer with us, but Jenna really, really meant a lot to me. She was taken back in '98. Jenna was one of those people that our just paths kept intertwining with each other. We grew up across the street from a circle that we grew up on, and then I ended up moving back in with my dad. She ended up moving with her mom, and it turned out we were a couple blocks away from each other, and that kind of blossomed to a really tight friendship. Something that I look back on quite often. I do miss her a lot. Um, and then due to a drive by, she was taken, and that will be details for another episode. But I just want to really kind of underline the fact that people come and go, and Jenna was definitely one of those special people that I hold on to. Um, After Jenna, I've met lots and lots and lots of people that have really helped me out. And another one was Amy. Amy, if you're out there, I love you. She was my best man at my wedding. And Amy, her and I just, I don't know, we just clicked. And we haven't talked recently. We kind of not had a falling out, but life happens. We both have two kids. We live 2,600 miles away from each other. And things just kind of, they just go their own ways. But it's the type of friendship that if I were to call her right now, we'd pick up as if nothing had happened. There was no time separated there. So Amy, at one point I lived with Amy when I got kicked out. She was great. Amy is a beautiful singer and one of those people that really just, even though she struggled with certain things, she was very confident in how she struggled with it. It seemed like I always looked up to her and thought to myself that she possessed this, I don't know, this inward light that I always looked up to, and I was in awe of, because I always felt like I was missing some sort of inner strength, and she seemed to have that in spades. So yeah, she definitely has meant a lot to me and to my boys, and her kids are beautiful, and I just wish her the best. But Amy definitely came into my life at a perfect time. She's one of the few people that have met my dad, and in a positive light. We went and saw him when he was working at a convenience store, and my dad was weird this way. He said, grab whatever you guys want, candy bars, and he let us go out the door with free candy. So it was interesting. Speaking of my dad is definitely one of those special people. Not in the traditional sense. It's not like he came through and helped me out, but he led by example of kind of what I don't want to do. And then there's always this weird back and forth fear and then admiration for the guy. When he did drink, which he never did, but when he did, he was amazing. He was funny, he was relaxed, charismatic. He brought food home and we ate, and it was something I always looked forward to. I used to joke as a kid, like, I wish he would drink more. But when he did get in those moods and hugged you, it was the world. It was amazing. And the other crazy thing is, outside of the home, my dad was this very gregarious, outgoing, charismatic guy. Everybody liked him. Everybody laughed. It was always such a weird observation to make. Like, damn, Dad's talking with this guy, and the guy's liking it. Like, he's staying on his own accord. And it was just really, really interesting. My dad, behind doors, hates everybody. But if you put him in a social situation, which he doesn't want to be in, he is the life of the party. He's amazing. So very interesting contrast there. When I did get kicked out, I had a family, a classmate of mine whose family heard that I was out living on my own in a car, and they're the Lees, Ann, Craig, Colin, and Aaron. They took me in, and they didn't know who I was. And Colin and I developed this friendship that, it was very, very, very tight. And while it did burn out, it was perfect for the time, and that's exactly what you could ask for is that opportunity to connect with somebody and bond. And then if things burn up and burn out, or you guys go separate ways, it is what it is, but at least we have positive memories. I can say for sure that I had a lot of issues I was working through, and our communication just wasn't quite the best. So we didn't end up parting on the best terms, but I still love you, man. I hope you know that. I hope you eventually hear this podcast and just know that I think of you guys often. But Annie Lee, Craig Lee, you guys ended up being family. Like, I called you mom, and I really still to this day feel that way. Aunt Dee Dee, when she passed, it was devastating, and it was just somebody that I had just only met recently at that time. And Aunt Dee Dee had was one of those really cool charismatic women that just like, she never married, and she would go to dances in a tux because that's what she wanted. Now, I don't know if she was gay, but it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter because she was beautiful. So I don't know what her lifestyle was, what her sexual preference was, and who gives a crap. Like, without giving her a label, she was beautiful. There's no need for a label other than beautiful and charismatic. So she really kind of left an impression on me for just being this kind of, Wild West character, played by her own rules, and I really dig that kind of renegade side to people. So Aunt Dee Dee was great. And Mama Ann, she definitely shared a lot of that, and they're the ones that helped me get the job at the care center. So can't thank them enough. They took me in when they didn't need to, and they treated me as an equal. I have such a deep respect and deep love for these guys. I know we should talk more. It's something that that I struggle with, and I hope one day, if you do hear this, that you know that I still think of you every day, and I can't wait for you guys to see the boys and whatnot. So yeah, I love the Lees. Can't say enough. Later in life, I met somebody. I don't even know how to describe this friendship. So, Mike, if you're listening, dude, this is where I'm gonna cry. So, Mike and I have known each other for 20 plus years. We met at Petco together, and Mike's best friend Reed, who eventually became my best friend, we called ourselves the Tripod. We were just, I don't know, it just clicked. It just clicked so well. Like, our personalities just really jigsawed together to fit perfectly. And Reed is just one of these very compassionate, very well thought out people. And while we don't talk as much, Reed and I just look forward to hearing from him and seeing him. He's just a very warm person, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate his friendship. So Reed, man, this is such a difficult conversation for me because I have 30 minutes to really express the depth and love that I have for all these people, and I'm finding it difficult to do. But Reed came through, came via Mike. And Reed and I are very similarly built. Well, we're the same height almost. He's a little bit taller, of course. But he always has this, like, down-to-earth approach to things, and I love that. And he's he's a great father and a great friend. Mike and I are kind of, I call him my brother. Everyone knows him as my brother. I didn't want to make things even more complicated by adding Mike, but I definitely would have added Mike into my siblings if it wasn't for the fact that it was already a very complicated network of relationships. So Mike is my brother. I love him dearly. His wife Nikki's amazing, and their two boys, just beautiful people. I'm doing my best to hold back the tears right now because you get once in a lifetime opportunity to meet certain connections, and Mike is definitely one of those connections that I've been very lucky to meet. Him and I talk almost daily, and it's funny because I don't like talking on the phone except when it comes to Mike. Everyone calls him my boyfriend if they don't call him my brother, and it's a running joke, not joke. So he and I just get each other. We've definitely been through similar struggles in life, and so our humor is very similar, and humor really is the tool that I've used the most to get through a lot of this stuff, and Mike is on par with that. He and I enjoy very spicy foods. We enjoy hunting together. We enjoy pushing ourselves together. The guy, while he is 6'6", and I'm 5'2", we're kind of on polar opposite. We mirror each other very closely. So clothes don't fit me and they don't fit him. We have opposite issues with that. His cuffs usually come to here, or mine come to here. Same thing with pants. You know, my pants usually are going right beneath my chest in order for the inseam to be proper, whereas he has them down near his hips and they're still kind of high rise. It's a very funny duo that we have between us, but I love the guy to death. My boys love him to death. It's just, he's family 100%. So Mike came into my life, and I can't imagine my world without him. So, you know, it's a romantic letter to the guy for sure, and he's definitely supporting me on this podcast, and I can't thank you enough. So, without getting too teary, thank you, thank you. I love you to death. So, Mike has been instrumental throughout all my struggles, and really, that Mike is probably the guy that he knows the most about me. There's not too many walls that I keep up when it comes to Mike, if any, to be honest. So that's a very vulnerable spot, and he's definitely in the right place for me in my life. And then, you know, it's funny because the guy I'm going to interview next week, his name's Brian. I call him B. He's also my brother, just as close. It's funny how we met. So when I first met Brian, I didn't like him. He didn't like me. And it was like a stepbrothers moment where we're like, what just happened? Did we just become best friends? Yup. So I'll hurry and go over that real quick because I kind of want to talk to you about it in depth with the interview with him. But he and I were in the same department at a company we work for, and he came up to me all big chest, and I came up to him all big chested, and he's like, "What do you like to do?" And I was like, "Oh, I don't know, spearfish." And he's like, "Oh, I spearfish too." And he's like, "You want to go?" I'm like, "Yeah." And then we were good. So after that, we were totally cool, and that guy is my diving buddy. My hunting buddy. I'm the godfather of his daughter Fallon, who she's got me wrapped around her finger. I just love that girl. There was a running joke around there that I was the actual dad, which I'm not. I wish, but I'm not. But his family, Felicia, you're a sister to me. I just love you to death. Your kids are amazing. Kaivi, if you're watching this, I love you, bro. That's his oldest. It goes Kaivi, Fallon, Sagey Boy, and then their newest Aries. Beautiful family. Felicia, real quick plug, has her own channel. Or for any of you guys who are working, trying to raise kids, trying to feed them healthily, happily, trying to shop on a budget, check out her vlog. She's got an amazing YouTube vlog. Beautiful family. You get to see Fallon, Sage, Kaivi once in a while, and of course baby Aries. And then Brian does make an appearance here and there, but Brian and I have been in some major stuff, man. Just like Mike and I, we've been in some crazy stuff with sharks. We've saved sharks before. We've saved moray eels. We've done some crazy stuff. I almost slid off a cliff with the guy. I love you, man. I can't say enough. So I don't think I would be able to have made it as far as I have here in Kauai without you. So I love you guys, and I can't wait for you guys to see the interview I do with him, because it's going to be a very in-depth interview where tears are going to be shed. He and I, like when he told me he was pregnant with, he and Felicia were pregnant with Fallon, it just, tears were brought to my eyes. When they were pregnant with Sage, tears. So I love you guys, and I just genuinely hope you guys know that. But yeah, so, and then to kind of wrap it up, I met, a person that is my roommate, is my girlfriend. It just depends. Obviously, we both struggle with communication, but Keola came into my life with 2 kids, and my 2 kids, and she was the first person to make me laugh at a very dark time in my life, and I thought, this person's amazing. She has quick wit. She's got a big heart. We're both quick to shut down when it comes to communication, and that's something that we're both struggling with. But Keola, I hope you know I think the world of you, and I don't want to get too teary-eyed, but I wouldn't have been able to get this far without you, for sure. And then I was never blessed with a daughter until she came in. So I have a Hanai daughter, and I love her to death, and I have another son. And even though he drives me nuts, I love those guys very much. So, throughout my life, I've had a lot of great people who came into my life and allowed me to hold on a little bit more. And I always had this imagery in my head where my life was always me stuck on this cliff with I'm out of handholds, I'm out of rope, I can't get off of this cliff. And it's 1,000 foot drop and it's 1,000 foot climb, but there's no footholds, handholds. And then a little spark in me starts to glow and start to grow, and I can hear my mom's voice. And my mom was famous for 2 words, and it's kind of like those words that just mean anything depending on how you say it. But the words were no shit, and I can hear her saying no shit. And I take my fist and I slam it into the cliff wall and I make my own handhold, and I do that as I climb out. So, I wasn't given very many handholds, but I made my own. But I don't think I would have had the courage to bust up my way out of this without these very amazing people in my life. So, I have missed quite a few people. My ex-wife was very supportive for me, very instrumental in allowing me to get through a lot of things. And then our time kind of ended, and I probably for a good thing. But she also was instrumental in helping me out in a lot of ways. Betty, I think a lot about you, and you were very instrumental for sure in allowing me to come through that. And so I do have to pay deep respects for you. Betty was an ex-girlfriend of mine, an amazing person, down to earth, beautiful person. Lina, you're amazing. So Lina is this young stud of a person. She just recently got married to Omar. Congratulations, you guys. I can't say enough about you. So I was going through therapy, and one of the exercises I had was to think of someone younger than me who I looked up to, and I could only really think of Lina. Lina, you're just incredible. So I have a lot of faith and hope for the future generation, because you guys seems like the future generation for the most part doesn't have any holdups, any stick-ups. You guys are just accepting and loving and supportive. That's what we need. A lot of people from my generation still carry the stigma of what it is to be a man, and therapy is for women, and what the hell does that even mean? So, I'm a dude that loves plants, and I'm proud to say it. I cry at music. I love my boys. I'm in love with my boys. I don't care who doesn't want to hear that. I will die saying that. They mean the world to me, and it's all because of amazing people I've met. And so I'm just going to take a real quick last minute and say, if anybody is missed in this, please know that it's just my brain is fractured and I have a very hard time getting it into 30 minutes. I will definitely be mentioning you later in future episodes. And I love you guys so much for being there, for sure. Everybody that's come to my life, both negative and positive, because you have to take the meaning in suffering. Hopefully you find some positivity and a lesson to move on. My mom, obviously, goes without saying, you were amazing to me. My birth mom, actually, even you too. So, I don't want to keep getting long-winded here, but I love you guys, and I hope that it means something to you. Tyron, I gotta mention Tyron and Din. These guys are another pair of freaking studs. Tyron and I, we just bonded, or I think over the fact that we both had a pain in our lives and we're both struggling to get through it. And it was great and amazing to see him accomplish an amazing goal. Hats off to you, man. Tears are going to start swelling my eyes to think that you became the father you always wanted to be, and more so now it seems like I'm looking up to you. The relationship you guys have together is incredible. Hats off to you, and I hope one day to have you on the podcast, but really just as a way to showcase just how intelligent and amazing a person you are. And you and Dan are just beautiful people. So we'll kind of do a little mini wrap up, because I could just talk and talk and talk about these amazing people in my life. And we'll talk about the last segment of the show, which is Matters of the Gray Matters. And today's Gray Matter question is, what is family? What does family mean to you? And does it have to be by blood? I think you guys know my answer. And with that, I'll let you think about it. Well, that's it, folks. Thanks for stopping by. Make sure to check out the show notes. As always, just give them something to smile about. And we'll see you guys next week.